Okay, my friends, let us start working on the face. But before that, we will perform some quick adjustments on the arms. I want them to look a bit more relaxed, so I will simply rotate a bit over here. And also, rotate the forearm to the front. This way. Same for the palm of the hand, rotate it too. I will adjust the shoulders a bit. A bit more over here. Maybe that was too much. I will rotate it back a bit and relocate it over here. That's it. This way the character looks a bit more relaxed. I will make another quick adjustment to the back, and that's all. Okay then, let's work on the face. For the face, the idea is to build the main geometries, as we did for the rest of the body. It's the same thing for the face. So, here in the folder that contains the reference, there are also a lot of reference for the head. I will open a new PureRef file and drag over some of these files. I will choose this skull, this one over here. I will also drag this one, and as always, our main character. Okay then, the idea is to begin by making a head. Similar to this one, trying to achieve this basic shape. So let's work on that. Okay, I will start then by adjusting the head position. We should move it forwards a little. And same for the neck. We will also drag the skull down from here. Same for the forehead. And we will start making the main elements of the face. For this, we can choose the crease brush. I will enable the add-on that shows the key presses now. I will also disable the gizmo from here, and we can use the crease brush here to start emphasizing some main borders. So we can use the crease brush while pressing the Control key to emphasize important borders. I will increase the resolution for this geometry a bit. I will set it to 0.04. 0.04. And then press Remesh, Ctrl R to smoothen it all, and with the crease brush, start marking these borders that will define the shape of the model. This will help us with the faceting. We can use clay strips to mark the outstanding volumes. Proceed smoothing when it's needed, and again with the crease brush, we will mark the borders, generating the outlines. Okay, now for the eyes and the nose, we must create a kind of contrast of volumes. So using clay strips, I will generously emphasize the ocular cavities. If we see another referent, this is more or less what we need to do. We can incrementally outline the shapes of the skull, and this way we can get a general idea of how the head will look. So I will start by doing that. Outlining these shapes. We can also outline these skull bones. We can exaggerate a bit here, which will allow us to better identify the anatomy. So I will emphasize this. We can focus on emphasizing this at first and then smooth it out. mark these planes of the skull over here. Don't worry if it looks kind of weird. That's expected at this point. It always looks weird when we're at the middle of giving shape to the anatomy. So I will mark these bones. I could also push this here to outline the shape. We will be constantly rotating our model. For example, from this 3/4 view, there should always be a noticeable sinking here. So let's emphasize it even more. I will sink it using the grab brush. I will decrease the volume of this area and add some more volume to the nose. And let's continue with this other referent. Okay, so we will really emphasize that nose. We will use both the clay strips and the grab brush to really mark the position of the nose. That's it. And now it's time to smoothen the face. Here's an area that's too pronounced. And while we proceed, you can notice how the skull slowly becomes more and more coherent. You may be tempted to mark the face features from the start, but don't rush out too much. It's better to build the anatomy first, to locate the general position of the features, and then polish and adjust them from there. Okay, I will use the crease brush again to pronounce and mark these borders a bit more. That's it. And now it's time to outline the lips. Okay, so for the lips, we could simply start with a sinking using the crease brush. And then, while holding control, rise this prominent part of the lip. Okay, it's looking good. We can add some more volume to the lower lip with clay strips. And we can also increase the resolution a bit. I will set this to 0.02 and then remesh. Smooth it all out. And keep working on this. Let's look for another referent that gives us a better look at the lips. We have this one over here, from an artist that, in my opinion, does an excellent job at drawing faces. She's Rodesca. She makes really beautiful stylized faces. Just look at this silhouette. It's very pretty. We will try to create a similar silhouette. We will try to sink this area a little and make the lips more prominent. We can use clay strips to add some volume. add even more volume with clay strips. And always use the crease brush to emphasize the borders. Let's keep this smooth. Smooth this over here. And there's a slight sinking just on top of the lips, so I will mark it. And I will also try to really emphasize the shape of the nose. Okay, let's keep looking around. Aha! While rotating, I could notice that this part is too pronounced. This tip here. So I will grab the Scrape Peaks brush and flatten it. This way, in order to separate the volumes. This line is way too pronounced, so we will make it flatter, using the scrape brush. We will now pronounce the cheeks a bit more. We can use the clay strips brush to go over all this part over here. Okay, and at this point, I think we can rotate the whole model, making sure it looks good from all the angles. At the height of the cheeks, for example, it looks too flat. It almost looks like a line. So I will adjust all these things. I can move it a bit to the back, so the shape looks more fluid. Okay, now, from this angle, there should be a perceptible sinking at the sides of the lips. Maybe the referent doesn't show us a good angle for this, but this area should be a bit sunken. So let's rotate the head and make the lips stand out a bit more. I will use the crease brush then, to subtly go over this area and decrease the volume around the lips a little. Okay, now let's adjust the shape on the frontal view. That's it, and at this point we can add the ears. For that, we will create a circle. Rotate it 90 degrees. I will hide all these things that are floating around to clean up my workspace. Now grab the circle, place it closer to the head, go into edit mode, and press No. First I will enable this option to collapse the vertices, then extrude it and press S0, then press Enter, and all the vertices on the middle will get collapsed. So we will create the ear shape from this angle. I also have a referent for the ears over here. Let's look for it. Here it is. I will drag it. This is a pretty detailed ear. But, as we won't add too much detail, because we're making a stylized character, we will just try to copy the general shape of the ear. Locate it in the correct position. Okay, something like this. And we will add the Solidify modifier. This over here. Sorry, I added the wrong modifier. I added Skin. Solidify. I will set the offset to 0, increase the width, and adjust the position. Now I will rotate it from the frontal view and a bit over here. Let's try to adjust the rotation more precisely and locate it where it should go. Normally, we take the position of the nose and the eyebrows as reference. That rule applies for realistic characters. But as we're working on a stylized model, we can be less strict with that. It's a good guide anyway, though. From the nose to the eyebrows. I will make it a bit smaller and scale it in the Z-axis. Move it over here. Okay, let's see it from the top view. I believe we can move it forwards a bit, and in general, we can move the whole jaw a bit to the front. That's it. I will add a mirror modifier, selecting the head as its axis. Give it a check to see how it looks. Okay, and let's keep working on the head surface, looking for irregularities to smooth them out. Let's see one of these reference again. As the features are now much more polished, we can start using this referent now, which shows the surfaces in a greater detail. I will pronounce the chin a bit more. Always using crease to mark the silhouettes, the main borders. The lips should also be more pronounced to the front. As a quick guide, you should be able to almost draw a straight line between the lips and the chin. As you can see in this other referent. Smooth it out. I will add some more volume to the nostrils, just a tad. And use crease again to emphasize the borders. Rotate the character once again, adjusting the shape so it looks really fluid from all angles. Check thoroughly to make sure it looks nice from all the angles. For example, the lips look a bit irregular when I rotate, so I will adjust them. We will be polishing our work all the time while we rotate the model. It's an exercise of constant observation. We must rotate the model all the time, looking for irregularities to fix. Here, for example, we can round this area a bit. That's it. I will sink this a little. Now select the crease brush and make it really big to decrease the volume on this part. Check again. Okay, I will smooth this a bit more. That's it. And let's zoom out a bit to have a more general look. I think we should move the whole head a bit to the front and to the bottom. We can also scale it a bit, make it slightly bigger. We had already adjusted the proportions, but if we see there's still space for improvement, we can change things, even if that changes the proportions of the referent. Okay, I will also push the neck a bit to the front. That's it. And now it's time to add the eyes. For that, we will simply add a UV sphere. I will create it over here. Move it over here, scale it, and adjust it in its corresponding position in the head, in this area. Rotate it, looking for the exact position. I think we can scale it a bit, move it over here. Aha, this is more or less the position. That's it. And I like to proceed like this. I like to duplicate this object. I just duplicated it. So now I have two spheres. Now go into edit mode, select this loop over here in the middle, press V to separate it, and now I will rotate it and use it for the eyelid. So if I rotate it now, it will get separated from the eye, from the surface. So I must select the loop we just cut. Press Shift S and select Cursor to Selected. And now I will place the pivot over the 3D cursor and rotate it to create the eyelids. I must disable this option first and simply rotate it this way. Also from the frontal view. And now we have the upper eyelid. Now let's do the same for the bottom eyelid. Select this here, rotate, and try to locate it like this. Let's check our referent image. Okay, now we will just grab this object, the eyelids. I will add the Solidify modifier. Set a positive offset. Increase the size from here. And I will also add the Shrink Wrap modifier. This will kind of glue together two different geometries. We will select the eye as the target. Shrink Wrap should go first here. Let's drag it to the top. And we will also go over here to Object and add Shade Smooth to this eye, so it looks completely smooth. Okay, so both the eye and eyelids are ready. Now we will simply adjust the position using the grab brush. However, when we use the grab brush, both eyelids will get moved. To fix that, we will go over the brush properties. Tool, Advanced, and select Topology. And now if I move one of the eyelids, the other will be unaffected. Okay, so the idea here is to adjust the shape of the eyelids, so the eyes look very similar to our concept. I will adjust the shape little by little. We will also work on the bottom eyelids. And even thought we're dealing with the eyelids this way at first, we will collapse them later on, joining them with the rest of the head geometry. So it doesn't look like this, but completely fluid. Okay, we will now adjust the head. We can keep polishing some more. I think we should slightly move this to the back. I will adjust the eye position a bit. I think we should move it a bit to the front and center it too. And we will also add the mirror modifier, so we can see both eyes at the same time. Assign the head object as the axis. Okay, perfect. Very good. Remember that we will be doing this exercise all the time. To rotate the character and see how it looks from all possible angles. Okay, I will keep polishing some things. Smooth this area a bit. Rotate it slowly, looking for irregularities. For example here, just under this lip, there's a kind of slightly raised volume. So I will remove it. Let's remove it. Okay. It's looking good, and I think the ears should be just a tad bigger. Well, maybe I will lift them up a bit instead. Okay, perfect. Let's work a bit on the neck. Let's zoom out to see everything at once. I think we could move the neck a bit more to the front. And I think that, in general, we can pull down the whole head. I will scale it just a bit more. Make it slightly bigger. Okay, let's rotate some more. I think it's looking pretty nice. I will add some more volume at the back. Okay, I think the shape looks good. I will adjust the features a bit more. I will pull the chin down. Just a tad. We must be really careful when adjusting the features. We must use a very big brush and go very slowly. I will adjust this shape over here. Then move this eyelid a bit to the bottom, so the eye looks wider. And for the top one, make it more fluid. Let's keep rotating and making all these tiny adjustments. Okay? I think there's one last thing we could do, thinking on how to improve the general look of this model, and that's adding the eyebrows. So let's add a plane, place it over here. I will set the pivot point to median point again, and rotate it 90 degrees. Scale it even more. And now we will do the following. We will add the shrink wrap modifier, place it on the head, move the square over here first. Select the head so it sticks to the surface. Set the mode to outside surface and add some offset so it sticks on top of the surface. I will also enable this option to be able to alter the geometry and place it over here at the eyebrows position. This sometimes gets all jumpy while moving it. To prevent that, I will duplicate the modifier with Ctrl D and with Ctrl A, apply it at once. And that will allow us to work more comfortably. Okay, and now we will try to correctly locate the eyebrows. I will create more loops where needed. trying to correctly locate the position. Let's also add a mirror modifier. Set the head as the axis. I think the offset we set was too exaggerated. Let's set it at 0.02. No, this is too little. 0.01. That's enough. I will scale the whole eyebrow. And also add the subdivision surface modifier. I will drag the subdivision modifier to the top and keep adjusting. Okay, we should pull this down a little. Sometimes I also like to work in sculpt mode. In these cases, I feel that the process is more organic, more fluid this way. I think we can pull down the lips just a bit. That's it. Let's leave it like this for now. Okay, and in the next video, we will collapse various body parts. For example, we will try to collapse the arm, the whole torso, and the legs. And from there, we will start creating some objects on top of that. So I will save my file and see you in the next video.